Hey guys, we are looking at video 2 here. We're going to be solving by elimination. So this is the third way to solve systems. Last video we talked about solving by graphing and solving by substitution. Now we're going to solve by elimination. So just like last time, remember, if it says to solve by a certain thing, make sure you are using that method. Okay, so elimination is exactly how it sounds. We're going to eliminate a variable. Okay, so your goal is to eliminate a variable. Okay, so what you want to ask yourself is, if I add these two together, will they equal 0? Nope. If I add these two, will they equal 0? The answer is yes. So I can go ahead and add the two functions then, or the two equations. So 5x plus negative 8x gives me negative 3x. 3y plus negative 3y, those are going to cancel, equals negative 19 plus 25 gives me 6. Divide by negative 3 on both sides, so x is negative 2. So in your ordered pair, we know negative 2 is the x value. Okay, so we solved by x by eliminating the y's. All right, and then we can take this negative 2 and plug it in either equation. It doesn't matter which one. So now I have 5 times negative 2 plus 3y equals negative 19. I just plugged it in the first one. I took that and plugged it in right there. All right, so negative 10 plus 3y then equals negative 19. Add the 10 over. So 3y equals negative 9. So y would be negative 3. And there's your answer. Okay, but like you guessed, it's probably not always going to be that easy. So sometimes when you look at your problem, if we take 2x plus 2x, that does not equal 0, and these two don't add to be 0 either. So what we want to do is multiply one of them by negative 1. So I'm just going to multiply this entire equation by negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite the first one, and then multiply everything in this one by negative 1. So that gives me negative 2x plus 6y equals negative 28. Now I can add the two equations together. Okay, so my x's this time are going to cancel. Negative 9 plus 6 gives me negative 3y. 34 plus negative 28 gives me 6. Divide by negative 3, so y is negative 2. So this time I solve for y first as negative 2. Okay, so again, we couldn't add these together right away because 2 plus 2 would give me 4. So I wanted to multiply this entire thing by negative 1 so that I could make that a negative 2 then. All right, so now I'm going to take this and plug it in for y this time. So I have 2x minus 9 times negative 2 equals 34. So 2x plus 18 equals 34. Minus the 18, so you have 34 minus 18 gives you 16. And then divide by 2, so x is 8. So that is where your two lines would cross. All right, let's look at another one. Okay, so here we have 8 and 5. Those don't add to be 0. Negative 3 and 2. Those don't add to be 0. So this is one that gets a little bit more tricky because we have multiple things going on here. So the easiest way to do this is to take this first equation and multiply it by 5. That would give you a 40a here, okay? And then we're going to multiply this one by negative 8, and that would give you negative 40a. So if you just take the bottom and multiply up here and the top and multiply down here, make sure one's positive and one's negative. So now I have 40a minus 15b equals negative 55. And then on the bottom I have negative 40a minus 16b equals 24. Now I can add my two equations together because my a's are going to cancel. So your goal is to make either the a's or the b's the same or opposite each other, sorry, one positive, one negative. Okay, negative 15 and negative 16 gives me negative 31b. Negative 55 plus 24 gives me negative 31 as well. So when I divide by negative 31 on both sides, I get b equals a positive 1. So b comes second in the alphabet, so I'm just going to do a comma b here. All right, so I'm going to take b and plug it back in then, right here, and I'm going to solve for a. So I have 8a minus 3 times 1 equals negative 11. Minus 3 equals negative 11. Add the 3 on both sides. So negative 8, so a is negative 1. All right, so in a case where you can't just add them right away, you have to multiply either one or both of the equations by something to cancel them out. So you're figuring out what you can multiply one or both equations by to cancel them out. All right, so looking at this one then, okay, 5 and 15 don't add to be 0, 3 and 9 don't add to be 0, but I could multiply this 5 by negative 3, and that would give me a negative 15 here. Okay, and in that case, then I don't have to multiply the bottom equation by anything. Okay, so if I multiply this, I get negative 15x minus 9y, and then negative 3 times 32 gives me negative 96. And then I'm going to rewrite the second equation right below it. So if you look here, now I have negative 15 and 15. So my goal of trying to cancel out the x's worked. Okay, so my x's cancel. Well, in this case, I actually ended up canceling out my y's as well when I multiplied by negative 3. Okay, negative 9 plus 9 cancels out. So I'm just going to write a 0 there because everything canceled. And now I have negative 96 plus 54, which gives me negative 42. So I have no variables left, and I have 0 equals negative 42. Okay, that is a false statement, so that means there are no solutions to this. Meaning that if I were to look at my graph would be 2 parallel lines that would never cross. All right, if you ended up with a true statement here, okay, so let's say it was true. That means you would have had 2 overlapping lines. So that might have been the first line. Your second line might have been right over top of it, and we would have had infinite solutions if this would have been true. But because this is false, there are no solutions, meaning this is parallel. These guys were parallel. All right, and that is your first video of chapter 3. We will see you next time.